This theory is about to flip everything you thought you knew about the MCU's multiverse saga upside down. How could RDJ's Doctor Doom use Tony Stark's legacy to manipulate the Avengers and outsmart Reed Richards? Is it possible that Tony Stark, who died in Avengers Endgame, could return as a multiversal variant to fight alongside Doom? Why would Marvel bring back RDJ as two characters? And how could this duo dominate Avengers Doomsday? Doom's multiversal plan involves stealing cosmic powers like those of the Beyonders or even Loki to reshape reality. How does the infamous Iron Man comic storyline hint at Doom masquerading as Tony Stark? Will the Fantastic Four's arrival in the MCU set up a personal rivalry between Doom and Reed Richards that leads to an epic betrayal? Could the Avengers division sparked by Thunderbolt's new Avengers reveal give Doom and a revived Tony the edge to win? What role does dreamwalking, introduced in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, play in connecting Doom to Tony Stark's body or mind? How might Avengers Endgame's time heist accidentally create Doctor Doom's origin? And finally, could Avengers Doomsday end with Doom and Tony Stark victorious, setting up a battle world ruled by RDJ's characters in Secret Wars? This theory pulls from comics, MCU clues, and insider leaks to craft a narrative so insane it just might be true. We're talking multiversal conspiracies, betrayal, cosmic power grabs, and a showdown that could redefine the MCU. So, grab your popcorn because we're about to unpack how RDJ's doctors say Doom and a revived Tony Stark could team up to outsmart, outfight, and outshine Earth's mightiest heroes in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Let's get started. Alright, let's kick things off with the bombshell that rocked San Diego Comic-Con 2024. Robert Downey Jr. is returning to the MCU as Dr. Teen Doom. After Tony Stark's heroic sacrifice in Avengers Endgame, fans thought RDJ was done with Marvel. But Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige dropped a mic with this casting and it's got everyone buzzing. Why bring back RDJ, the face of Iron Man, to play Marvel's greatest villain? The answer lies in the multiverse, and the possibility of RDJ playing two roles, Doctor Doom and a revived Tony Stark variant. Let's break it down. In the comics, Doctor Doom is Victor Von Doom, a genius scientist and sorcerer from Latveria with a massive ego and a vendetta against Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four. Tony Stark, on the other hand, is the MCU's tech-savvy billionaire hero. But what if these two characters are more connected than we think? The MCU's multiverse saga, with its focus on variants and alternate realities, opens the door for RDJ to play both a villainous Doctor Doom from another universe and a Tony Stark variant who's brought back to life. This isn't just fan service, it's a narrative masterstroke. The theory starts with the idea that Marvel chose RDJ for a reason. The Russo brothers, who are directing Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, hinted in an interview with The Times that Tony Stark's death in Endgame is part of the story for Doom's arc. This suggests a deep connection between the two characters. One popular fan theory on Reddit proposes that Doom could use dreamwalking, a magical ability introduced in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, to possess Tony Stark's body or mind. In this scenario, Doom, perhaps from the Fantastic Four's universe, loses his world to an incursion, a multiversal collision, and Dream walks into Earth 616's Tony Stark, either before or after his death in Endgame. This creates a hybrid character, a Doctor character. Doom with Tony Stark's face and charisma, blending magic and tech to become unstoppable. But here's where it gets wilder. What if Avengers Doomsday introduces a second RDJ variant, a Tony Stark from another universe who's still alive? This Tony could be a hero, a villain, or something in between, like the infamous Iron Man comic storyline where Doom takes on the Iron Man mantle to redeem himself. In this theory, Doom and this revived Tony Stark team up, combining Doom's sorcery and Tony's tech genius to outsmart the Avengers. Imagine the emotional gut punch for the Avengers, seeing their fallen friend Tony Stark fighting against them, manipulated or allied with Doom. It's a betrayal that would hit harder than Thanos' snap. Why would Marvel do this? For one, it's a way to honor RDJ's legacy while pushing the MCU into bold new territory. Casting RDJ as both characters creates a narrative hook that keeps fans guessing. Is this Tony Stark a hero, a pawn, or a villain? Plus, it sets up a multiversal spectacle where RDJ faces off against himself, delivering the kind of emotional and visual payoff the MCU needs after a rocky multiverse saga. The Russo brothers know how to balance big casts and high stakes, as seen in Infinity War and Endgame, so they're the perfect team to pull this off. This dual RDJ theory also ties into the comics' Secret Wars storyline, where Doom plays a central role. In the 2015 Secret Wars by Jonathan Hickman, Doom steals the Beyonders' power to create Battleworld, a patchwork planet of multiversal remnants. If RDJ's Doom follows a similar path in Doomsday, he could use a Tony Stark variant as a front to gain the Avengers' trust, only to betray them later. The question is, how does this revive Tony come into play, and what's his relationship with Doom? Let's explore that next. The infamous Iron Man connection, Doom as Tony Stark. One of the biggest clues to this theory comes from the 2016 Marvel comic storyline Infamous Iron Man by Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Malee. In this arc, after Tony Stark falls into a coma during Civil War, Dr. Doom takes on the Iron Man armor to become a hero. He's not just playing dress-up. Doom genuinely wants to redeem himself, using Tony's tech to fight for good. But the world doesn't trust him, and his ego keeps pulling him back to villain. This comic is a goldmine for our theory, suggesting that RDJ's Dr. Doom could masquerade as Tony Stark in the MCU. Picture this. In Avengers Doomsday, Dr. Doom arrives in Earth 616, the main MCU universe, posing as a Tony Stark variant. Maybe he's from the Fantastic Four's retro-futuristic 1960s universe as seen in the Fantastic Four First Steps. Using his sorcery and tech, Doom alters his appearance or even dream walks into a Tony Stark body to infiltrate the Avengers. The heroes, still grieving Tony's death in Endgame, are thrilled to see their friend back, but it's a trap. Doom uses this trust to manipulate the Avengers, gathering intel or resources to execute his grand plan. This fits Doom's character perfectly. In the comics, Victor Von Doom is a master manipulator who often presents himself as a savior to mask his true intentions. He's helped heroes like the Fantastic Four and Avengers before, only to betray them for his own gain. Doom could disguise himself as Tony Stark to trick the Avengers into fighting another universe's heroes like the X-Men or Fantastic Four, weakening them before he strikes. This would explain why Marvel cast RDJ his face as Tony Stark is a weapon Doom can wield to say out chaos. But what about the second RDJ variant, the revived Tony Stark? In Infamous Iron Man, Doom's attempt to be a hero shows he's capable of complex motivations. What if Doomsday introduces a Tony Stark variant who's a hero in his own universe, but allies with Doom out of necessity? Maybe this Tony's world was destroyed by an incursion, and Doom promises to restore it in exchange for his loyalty. This Tony could bring his Iron Man tech to the table, creating a deadly duo with Doom's magic. Together, they'd be a force the Avengers can't handle. Two RDJs, one with sorcery, the other with repulsors, outsmarting and outgunning everyone. The emotional stakes here are huge. Imagine Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, facing RDJ's Tony Stark variant in Infinity War and Endgame. Strange and Tony had a bond, with Strange sacrificing the Time Stone to save Tony, knowing he died to defeat Thanos. Seeing Tony back, but fighting for Doom, would crush Strange, especially if he feels responsible for Tony's original death. The same goes for Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo, Tony's science bro, who'd be torn apart seeing his friend as an enemy. This dual RDJ setup turns Doomsday into a psychological thriller as much as an action epic. The infamous Iron Man angle also sets up a moral question. Can Doom or this Tony Stark variant be redeemed? In the comics, Doom's attempt to be Iron Man fails because his ego and past sins catch up with him. The MCU could explore this, showing Doom's plan unravel as the Avengers realize he's not Tony, but by then, it might be too late. Doom and Tony could already have the upper hand, leading to a devastating defeat in Doomsday. Let's see how this ties into Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four next. At the heart of this theory is Dr. Doom's rivalry with Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic of the Fantastic Four. In the comics, Doom and Reed are two sides of the same coin. Geniuses with massive egos, but where Reed uses his intellect for heroism, Doom's driven by pride and revenge. The 2015 Secret Wars comic hinges on their feud with Reed ultimately defeating Doom by exposing his insecurities and rebuilding the multiverse. In the MCU, Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars are poised to adapt this dynamic with RDJ's Doom facing off against Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards. In the comics, Doom blames Reed for an experiment that scarred his face and fueled his vendetta. The MCU could adapt this, showing Doom and Reed as former colleagues whose falling out pushes Doom to villain. But here's the twist. What if Doom uses a Tony Stark variant to undermine Reed? Imagine Doom having dreamwalked into a Tony Stark body or allied with a Tony variant posing as a hero to join the Fantastic Four and Avengers. He earns Reed's trust only to betray him at a critical moment. This would be personal for Reed, who's likely already wary of Doom from their shared past. By using Tony Stark's reputation in tech, Doom could manipulate the Avengers and Fantastic Four into a conflict, weakening them before he strikes. The revived Tony Stark variant adds another layer. In Avengers Endgame, Tony's sacrifice saved the universe, making him a legend. A Tony variant could be a celebrated hero in his own universe, giving Doom the perfect pawn to rally the Avengers. But this Tony might have his own agenda. Maybe he's bitter about his world's destruction, or blames Reed for failing to stop an incursion. In Doomsday, Tony could side with Doom, using his Iron Man armor to outmatch Reed's stretchy powers and the Fantastic Four's teamwork. This sets up a heartbreaking scene where Reed faces not just Doom, but a twisted version of Tony Stark, a hero he might admire from multiversal rumors. The comics give us a blueprint for this. In Secret Wars 2015, Doom creates Battleworld to rule as a god, but Reed challenges him, exposing Doom's flaws. The MCU could flip this with Doom and Tony winning in Doomsday by exploiting Reed's trust and teamwork. Thunderbolt's post-Reddit scene showing a Fantastic Four ship arriving in Earth 616 might actually be Doom's entrance, not the Fantastic Four's. If Doom hijacks their ship, he could arrive posing as Tony Stark, setting up his betrayal. This would make Reed's failure personal. He trusted Tony only to be outsmarted by Doom. The stakes are cosmic too. In the comics, Doom steals the Beyonders' power to reshape reality. In the MCU, he could target Loki, who holds multiversal power in Loki Season 2, or even Galactus, introduced in the Fantastic Four First Steps. A Tony Stark variant could help Doom build tech to siphon these powers, giving them the edge to crush the Avengers and Fantastic Four. The question is, how does this lead to an Avengers defeat in Doomsday? Let's dive into that next. Here's where things get dark. Avengers Doomsday is shaping up to be the MCU's Infinity War moment, a movie where the villain wins. A Screen Rant theory argues that Doom, with a Tony Stark variant by his side, could defeat the Avengers by exploiting their divisions and his own cosmic power grab. Let's break down how RDJ's dual roles could lead to this shocking victory. First, the Avengers are already fractured. Thunderbolts reveals the team splitting into two groups. The traditional Avengers led by Sam Wilson, Captain America, and the new Avengers including Yelena Bova and the Sentry. This division mirrors Captain America: Civil War, where the Avengers' infighting made them vulnerable to Thanos. Split gives Doom the perfect opportunity to strike. If Doom poses as Tony Stark, he could manipulate both teams, convincing them to fight each other over a fake threat like an incursion or a multiversal invasion. Enter the Tony Stark variant. This Tony could be a hero from another universe brought to Earth 616 by Doom's magic or tech. Maybe he's from a world where he never died, or one where he's the infamous Iron Man, blending Tony's tech with Doom's ruthlessness. In Doomsday, this Tony could build advanced armor or weapons for Doom, outmatching the Avengers' tech. Imagine a scene where Tony's repulsors and Doom's sorcery combine to take down Thor or Hulk, leaving the heroes stunned. The emotional impact would be brutal. Seeing Tony Stark, their friend, fighting against them would break the Avengers' morale. Doom's plan could involve a cosmic power grab. In the 2015 Secret Wars, Doom steals the Beyonders' power to create Battleworld. In the MCU, he might target Loki's multiversal control or Galactus' cosmic energy, where a key character's death triggers a universe's collapse. If Doom and Tony identify and kill anchor beings across the multiverse, they could trigger incursions, collapsing realities to fuel Doom's creation of Battleworld. Tony's tech genius would be key here, building devices to track and eliminate these beings. The Avengers' defeat would come from their inability to unite. Doctor Strange, confirmed for Doomsday, might suspect Doom's true identity, but be too late to stop him. The Fantastic Four, new to Earth 616, would be outmatched by Doom's knowledge of their weaknesses. The X-Men, potentially Fox's original cast, could be manipulated into fighting the Avengers, further weakening the heroes. Doom could be a Tony Stark variant from Endgame time heist created when the Avengers altered the 2012 Battle of New York timeline. This Tony, bitter from being left behind, allies with Doom to take revenge, giving them the edge to win. By the end of Doomsday, Doom and Tony could reshape the multiverse, creating a proto-battle world where Doom rules and Tony serves as his enforcer. The Avengers, defeated and scattered, would set up Secret Wars as their last stand. But how does Endgame tie into Doom's origin? Let's explore that next. This theory gets crazier with a Screen Rant idea that Avengers Endgame accidentally created Doctor Doom. In Endgame, the Avengers time heist involves traveling to past timelines like the 2012 Battle of New York to steal Infinity Stones. A Reddit theory by user OSTBear proposes that one of these branch timelines birthed a Tony Stark variant who becomes Doctor Doom. Here's how it could work. In Endgame, the Avengers' interference in 2012 creates a branch timeline where Loki escapes with the Tesseract. But what if Tony Stark from that timeline left behind after the Avengers return to 2023 faces a different fate? Maybe this Tony, already paranoid after the Chitauri invasion, delves into mysticism to protect his world, becoming a sorcerer like Doctor Strange. Over time, he adopts the persona of Victor Von Doom, blending his tech genius with magic. This explains why RDJ plays Doom, because he is a Tony Stark variant twisted by a divergent timeline. Alternatively, the time heist could have drawn the attention of a multiversal entity like the Beyonders, or a Kang variant who corrupts Tony into becoming Doom. In the comics, Doom's mother Cynthia made a deal with Meto, which shaped Victor's path. The MCU could replace Mephisto with a cosmic force that transforms this Tony Stark into Doom, giving him a vendetta against the Avengers for abandoning his timeline. This Doom then dreamwalks or travels to Earth 616, posing as Tony to infiltrate the Avengers. The revived Tony Stark variant could come from another timeline, perhaps one where Tony survived Endgame or never faced Thanos. This Tony, desperate to save his world from an incursion, allies with Doom, believing he's the only one who can stop the multiverse's collapse. Together, they outsmart the Avengers, using Tony's knowledge of their tactics from his own Avengers experience and Doom's sorcery to exploit their weaknesses. This ties back to Endgame's themes of sacrifice and consequence. Tony's death was meant to save the universe, but the time heist ripples could have created a monster. The Avengers, unaware of this, would face their past mistakes in Doomsday as Doom and Tony's alliance proves unstoppable. The question is, how does this lead to Secret Wars in Battleworld? Let's wrap it up. Avengers. Doomsday is just the setup for Avengers Secret Wars, where the multiverse's fate will be decided. In the 2015 Secret Wars comic, Doctor Doom creates Battleworld, a planet stitched together from multiversal fragments, and rules as God Emperor. Our theory suggests RDJ's Doom and Tony Stark variant win in Doomsday, reshaping the multiverse into a proto-battle world. Here's how it could play out. After defeating the Avengers, Doom uses his stolen cosmic power, possibly from Loki or Galactus, to merge collapsing universes into a single reality under his control. The Tony Stark variant, now fully aligned with Doom, helps design the tech to stabilize this new world. In Secret Wars, the Avengers, Fantastic Four, and X-Men regroup on Battleworld, forced to navigate a patchwork universe where Doom and Tony hold all the cards. The comics offer clues. In Secret Wars 2015, Doom's Battleworld is a utopia where he's worshipped, but it's built on lies. Reed Richards and a few survivors challenge him, using Molecule Man's power to restore the multiverse. The MCU could replace Molecule Man with an anchor being like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine from Deadpool and Wolverine, whose survival could be key to undoing Doom's reign. But with Tony Stark as Doom's ally, the heroes face an uphill battle. Tony's charisma and tech could rally Battleworld's inhabitants against the Avengers, making them outcasts in Doom's domain. The emotional core of Secret Wars would be Reed Richards confronting Doom and Tony. Pedro Pascal's Reed, a genius like Tony, would see through Doom's facade, but struggle against his former friend's betrayal. The Avengers, led by Sam Wilson and Doctor Strange, would face their own guilt over Tony's original sacrifice, making their fight personal. A theory suggests Doom might not die in Secret Wars, but instead be replaced by a new actor, allowing RDJ's arc to end while keeping Doom in the MCU. Alternatively, Tony could turn on Doom, redeeming himself in a final heroic act. The big question is, can the Avengers recover from their Doomsday defeat? With Deadpool and Wolverine likely joining the fight given their Deadpool and Wolverine success, the heroes have a chance. Deadpool's fourth wall-breaking humor could call out RDJ's dual roles, adding levity to the stakes. But Doom and Tony's combined intellect, magic, and tech make them a threat unlike any the MCU has seen. So, there you have it, the ultimate MCU theory on how RDJ's Doctor Doom and a revived Tony Stark variant could team up to crush Reed Richards and the Avengers in Avengers Doomsday. By blending the infamous Iron Man comic, Secret Wars lore, and MCU clues like dreamwalking and the time heist, we've built a case for a multiversal epic where RDJ plays both villain and anti-hero. Doom's manipulation, paired with Tony's tech and charisma, could exploit the Avengers' divisions, outsmart Reed, and reshape the multiverse into Battleworld by Secret Wars. This theory answers our big questions. Doom uses Tony's legacy to deceive the Avengers. A revived Tony Stark variant brings emotional stakes, and their victory in Doomsday sets up a cosmic showdown. Marvel's playing a risky game with RDJ's casting, but if they pull it off, it could be the MCU's greatest twist yet. Tony Stark died in Endgame. We all cried. But the multiverse changes everything. With infinite timelines, there are infinite Tony Starks. And some of them are dead, their bodies just waiting to be used. Enter Doctor Doom, a genius who blends tech and sorcery like no one else. In Multiverse of Madness, we learned about dreamwalking, controlling an alternate version of yourself across universes using the dark hole. Wanda did it, Strange did it, so why not Doom? Picture this. Doom finds a timeline where Tony Stark is dead but preserved. Maybe frozen in a collapsed reality or locked in a multiversal limbo. This Tony isn't just any variant, he's got the suit, the charisma, and the trust of the Avengers. If Doom can dreamwalk into that body, he's not just a villain, he's Iron Man. Who would suspect the guy who saved the universe? Doom wearing Tony's face could walk right into Earth 616, shake hands with Captain America, and no one would bat an eye. It's the perfect disguise. But to pull this off, Doom needs one thing, the Darkhold. So, how does he get it? Let's find out. Didn't Wanda destroy the Darkhold in Multiverse of Madness? Yes, she destroyed her universe's copy. But the multiverse is tricky, and the Darkhold's power isn't so easily erased. The key lies in Wundagore Mountain, the ancient site where the Darkhold spells were first carved into stone. Those carvings aren't just decorations. They're the source of the book's chaos magic. Even with the physical book gone, the knowledge lives on, scattered across realities like cosmic breadcrumbs. Imagine Doom, fresh off a multiversal breach, maybe caused by Kang's timeline meddling or Strange's spellcasting, stumbling onto Wundarore's ruins. He's not just a tech genius, he's a sorcerer who's been studying mysticism his whole life. In the comics, Doom's Latvian roots give him access to ancient magic, and the MCU could lean into this. What if Doom finds fragments of the Darkhold spells, maybe etched in a forgotten temple or leaking through a multiversal rift? Doom doesn't just copy the spells, he's too smart for that. He rebuilds the Darkhold, fusing its chaos magic with his own tech. Think of it like a sorcerer coding an app. He uses Latvian mysticism, maybe even leftover energy from Wanda's rampage to craft a new upgraded Darkhold. This isn't just a book anymore, it's a weapon. With it, Doom unlocks dreamwalking, scanning the multiverse for the perfect host, and he finds one. A dead Tony Stark from a broken timeline. Maybe this Tony died fighting Thanos, or maybe his world collapsed in an incursion. Either way, his body is intact, preserved by multiversal chaos like a relic in a museum. Doom doesn't resurrect Tony, he hijacks him. Using dreamwalking, Doom slips into Tony's body, gaining access to his mind, his tech, and his reputation. This isn't about bringing Tony back to life. It's about Doom wearing Tony's skin like a suit of armor. With the Darkhold's power and Tony's face, Doom has the ultimate Trojan horse to infiltrate Earth 616. But why stop at infiltration? Doom's got bigger plans. Way bigger. Let's see how he turns the Avengers into his pawns. So Doom's in Tony Stark's body, walking among the Avengers like he belongs. He's not going to blast them with lasers or fight them head-on. That's not his style. Doom's a chess master, and the Avengers are his pieces. His goal: corrupt them one by one until they're loyal to him. Here's how he does it. Sam's still finding his footing as Captain America. Doom, posing as Tony, knows this and plays on it. He starts with subtle digs. Steve would have handled that differently. "You sure you're ready for the shield?" He plants doubts, making Sam question his leadership. Over time, Doom pushes Sam to bend his morals, maybe approving a shady mission for the greater good. Sam doesn't realize he's being manipulated, but each choice pulls him closer to Doom's side. Doom knows Wakanda's tech is unmatched, so he offers she a deal she can't refuse. A Stark-Wakanda partnership to build Vibrani-powered AI. It sounds like a dream. Global defense systems. Next-level innovation. But Doom embeds hidden code in the tech, giving him a backdoor to Wakanda's defenses. Shuri thinks she's advancing her nation, but she's handing Doom the keys. Peter Parker's lost so much. Tony was his mentor, his guide. Doom leans into this, acting like the Tony Peter remembers. He encourages Peter to embrace his power without limits, saying things like, "You don't need to hold back, justice isn't gentle." Peter's grief and anger make him vulnerable, and Doom twists that into a darker, more reckless Spider-Man. Doctor Strange already trusts Tony. They fought side by side. Doom plays the part, showing interest in the mystical arts. He asks Strange for advice, learning about multiversal magic while planting traps in the Sanctum's defenses. Strange thinks Tony's just evolving, but Doom's studying him, ready to isolate the sorcerers when the time comes. Doom reactivates an old Stark satellite network, claiming it's for a universal shield initiative to protect Earth from cosmic threats. Monica and Carol, focused on galactic dangers, buy into it. But the satellites are secretly siphoning cosmic energy, amplifying Doom's power. He's not building a shield, he's building a throne. Piece by piece, Doom turns the Avengers into a team that looks stronger than ever. They trust Tony, follow his plans, and don't see the strings. He's not just corrupting their minds. He's using Darkhold runes and Stark nanotech to embed magical control. It's subtle, insidious, and brilliant. But what's he building this team for? That's the real question. Why go through all this trouble? Why not just destroy the Avengers and take over? Because Doom's playing a bigger game, one that stretches beyond Earth, beyond the multiverse, to the very edge of reality. Doom knows the next war isn't against heroes, it's against gods, the Beyonders, the Council of Reeds, maybe even the Living Tribunal. Secret Wars is coming, and incursions, collisions between universes are tearing reality apart. Doom's not just a villain, he's a strategist who wants to rule everything. And to do that, he needs an army that can stand against cosmic forces. Enter the Avengers. If Doom controls them, he doesn't just have Earth's mightiest heroes. He has a weaponized team capable of fighting multiversal threats. By posing as Tony, he earns their trust. By corrupting them, he ensures their loyalty. This isn't about beating the Avengers, it's about becoming them. Imagine Doom's version of the Illuminati. A secret group of Avengers under his command. Sam, Shuri, Peter, Strange, Monica, Carol, all brainwashed. Their powers enhanced by a terrifying mix of Darkhold magic and Stark tech. Iron Man's armor now pulses with chaos runes. Captain Marvel's energy is laced with multiversal siphons. Spider-Man's suit whispers dark commands. Wakanda's AI starts rewriting reality itself. This team isn't just powerful, it's a dark mirror of the Avengers, stronger than the Cabal from the comics. Doom's endgame is to lead this army into secret wars, using them to conquer not just Earth 616, but every reality. When he faces Kang or the Beyonders, he won't be alone. He'll have the most dangerous team in existence, all answering to him. The scariest part? No one sees it coming. The world cheers for Tony Stark's new Avengers, not knowing they're puppets in a cosmic chess game. But there's hope. Someone somewhere might notice the cracks in Doom's plan. Let's talk about who could stop him. Doom's plan is terrifying, but it's not unstoppable. 3 players could bring him down, each with their own way of cracking his scheme. If Wanda survived Multiverse of Madness, she's the biggest threat to Doom. She knows the Dark holds power better than anyone. She's felt its corruption, destroyed its book, and faced its consequences. If anyone can sense Doom's chaos magic tainting the Avengers, it's her. Wanda's return would be poetic. She'd be fighting to save the heroes she once endangered, using her own chaos magic to counter Doom's. Imagine her confronting Tony and realizing it's not him. That's the spark for an epic showdown. Fresh off Deadpool and Wolverine, these two are multiversal wildcards. They don't play by the rules and they don't trust anyone, especially not a too-perfect Tony Stark. If the TVA detects Doom's meddling, they might send Wade and Logan to investigate. Their outsider perspective and knack for breaking things could unravel Doom's plan. Picture Deadpool joking about Tony's new evil vibe while Wolverine sniffs out the sorcery. They're chaotic enough to disrupt Doom's control. What if another Tony Stark steps up? Maybe an AI version of Tony's mind preserved in a suit like in the comics, or a superior Iron Man variant from a darker timeline. This Tony could fight Doom from the inside, battling for control of the possessed body. Imagine a mindscape showdown, Tony's wit and heart clashing with Doom's ruthless ambition. It's not just a physical fight, it's a war for Tony's identity, giving fans the emotional climax we crave. If this theory plays out, Avengers Doomsday won't just be a multiversal event. It'll be a psychological thriller, a horror story, a betrayal arc wrapped in superhero glory. It reframes Tony Stark not as a returning hero, but as a Trojan horse. It positions Dr. Sync, Doom, as the true mastermind of the multiverse saga, operating not with brute force, but with infiltration, corruption, and manipulation. And it opens the door to a much darker MCU, one where the lines between hero and villain blur, where power corrupts, and where the only way to win is to destroy what you once believed in. Avengers Endgame. Tony snaps. He defeats Thanos. He dies. The world mourns. But here's the catch. His death felt convenient. Too perfect. Have you ever asked yourself, why didn't we see a full post-mortem? Where did Tony's body go after the funeral? Could someone powerful enough have intercepted it? The theory suggests yes, that someone was Victor Von Doom. This is where it gets dark. Dr. Doom isn't just a sorcerer or a scientist, he's both. He blends technology and mysticism in ways even Stark never did. Now imagine Doom, watching the events of Endgame from Livaria, seeing the fall of Thanos, and realizing Tony Stark's tech plus my magic equals a god-tier weapon. Doom doesn't just want Iron Man, he wants an Iron Man he can control. A version of Tony who's stripped of morality, loyalty, and fear. But here's the big question. Why bring him back at all? Because Doom knows nobody knows how to destroy the Avengers like Tony Stark does. Let's talk Resurrection. This isn't your typical Frankenstein moment. Doom wouldn't just use tech. He would imbue Stark's body with ancient Latvian dark arts, possibly something like the Crimson Bands of Sidorak to bind Tony's soul, necrotechnology to revive his mind with corrupted AI memory, and a Doom-forged arc reactor to restart his heart, but with a dark twist. Imagine this. Tony wakes up, but it's not him. It's a cold, twisted reflection. His memories distorted, his identity fragmented. This is not Iron Man, this is Iron Doom. Now, let's talk about the armor, because let's face it, Tony would never rock anything less than iconic. But under Doom's influence, picture an Iron Man suit fused with Doom's armor style, sleek black and silver plating, green glowing eyes, arc reactor pulsing with chaotic energy, and the Doom sigil where Stark's iconic chess piece used to be, his AI. Not Friday, not Jarvis, but a corrupted hybrid of both merged with Doom's own consciousness. A version of Tony who speaks like Stark, but thinks like Doom, cool, calculating, and completely heartless. Here's where Doom's genius shines. He doesn't send evil Tony to attack the Avengers right away. No, he infiltrates them. He starts small. Evil Tony shows up claiming to be a digital consciousness uploaded before death. And the team, they're confused, suspicious, but desperate. They miss Tony, they want to believe it's him, and that's Doom's trap. One by one, Iron Doom begins to study their weaknesses, access Stark tech protocols, corrupt Avengers defense systems, leak intel to Doom himself until he's ready. Here's the twist. This isn't just a revenge plot, this is the Doomsday Protocol, Doom's final solution for global domination. And guess what? Evil Tony is just phase 1. Once the Avengers are disarmed emotionally and physically, Doom unleashes the real endgame. A horde of Iron Doom Sentinels, each powered by fragments of Tony's genius, multiversal Avengers decoys, twisted clones from realities Doom has harvested, a time-locked fusion cannon capable of erasing entire timelines. And who's at the center of it all? Iron Doom, half Tony, half Doom, and 100% destruction. Now here's where the theory hits you right in the fields. What if in the middle of battle, evil Tony starts to remember, not all at once? Just flickers Pepper, Peter, Morgan. Suddenly, there's a crack in the armor. But here's the tragedy. Even if he remembers, can he fight Doom's control? This leads to the most heartbreaking possibility. Tony sacrifices himself again, but this time against his own corrupted self. Imagine the moment he turns against Doom, fights off the programming, saves the team, and dies a second time, finally free. Chills. Right now, you're probably wondering, okay, cool theory, but could Marvel actually do this? Let's connect the dots. Armor Wars is coming centered around Stark Tech in the wrong hands. Dr. Doom is rumored to appear in the MCU soon. Kang's timeline disruptions open doors for alternate versions of dead heroes. Marvel's new multiverse saga is all about twisted versions of familiar characters. So yeah, evil Tony coming back. It's not just possible, it's likely. And let's be real, Robert Downey Jr. returning as a villain, that's a box office dream Marvel won't pass up. Let's flip the script. If Iron Doom is unleashed, how could the Avengers win? They'd need She to create a counter-virus to Doom's tech, Strange to combat the magic binding Tony's soul, Peter Parker to emotionally reach out to the man who mentored him, and maybe even an alternate version of Tony Stark from another universe to face himself. In a full circle moment, Tony's legacy could be what saves the world from Tony's corpse. Symbolic, poetic, brutal. Here's where we leave you with something to really think about. What if this theory isn't just a theory? What if Doom is already at work behind the scenes in the MCU? Think back to Stark Tech being stolen in Spider-Man, Far From Home, mystical energy readings in Wakanda Forever, multiverse leaks in Loki, the emotional focus on legacy in Ironheart. What if all these breadcrumbs lead to one explosive twist? Tony Stark is coming back, but not as a hero. So now we ask you, do you think Dr. Doom could actually resurrect Iron Man? Would you want to see an evil Tony Stark in the MCU? Could the Avengers survive a war against one of their own? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Drop your wildest theories down below. Who knows, Marvel might be watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more twisted Marvel theories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Until next time, stay curious and remember, in the multiverse, anything is possible, even a hero becoming your greatest threat. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day ahead.